Renting versus buying. Which is the better option for you? And is there a reason why you should rent versus owning your own home? Today we're going to be talking about the differences between renting and owning your own home. We're going to look at what the top 3 benefits of renting are, and we're going to talk about the top 3 benefits of owning your own home. So take a seat, let's sit down, let's have a look at which one's actually the right option for you.
3 benefits.
The top 3 benefits to renting. Let's start with benefit 1. One of the first things that you'll discover with renting is that there's actually more flexibility. And flexibility to be able to move interstate, to move to another area, to be able to move overseas. That's fantastic. It means that for you, you can actually say, you know what, I want to live by the beach. Great. You can go and rent a home by the beach. And there's very little in terms of costs associated with that. Or you may decide that you want to live in the mountains. Great. Find a house in the mountains, sign up, get a lease for 12 months. You may love it. You may also decide that the mountains aren't for you and you'd rather live in the city. That's okay. You can then find a home closer to the city. This is one of the biggest benefits of renting, that flexibility, the flexibility to be able to decide whereabouts you want to live, but also even the type of home do you want to live in. Do you want to live in an apartment? Do you want to live in a standard 4-bedroom house in the suburbs? Do you want to live in a massive mansion with a giant pool out the back? If you can afford it, great. Maybe try that. This is one of the incredible benefits of renting. Benefit number 2 of renting. The second big benefit of renting is that if something breaks, you don't have to pay to fix it. At that point, if your heater breaks, you can call the landlord. The landlord will fix it for you. If a tap breaks, you don't have to fix it. The landlord will fix it. What about your oven? If your oven breaks, your landlord will fix it. This is one of the main things that a lot of people look at and go, well, if I own, I would have to pay for that. But if I'm renting, the landlord has to cover that cost. For many, that's a great benefit, not having to fix anything that breaks. Benefit 3 of renting, not having to worry about paying a mortgage. It's a simple one, but the reality is that if you own the home, you have to pay the mortgage. And for some people, that's a really big worry. The uncertainty of what will happen with the market. Will interest rates go up? Will interest rates go down? Knowing that you're responsible for making sure that those mortgage repayments are made on time to the bank every single month. For some, that's a big worry. But if you're renting, you don't have to worry about that. That's not your problem. That's the landlord's. So what are the 3 benefits of buying? Let's start with benefit number 1. Well, the first one is the reason that most people decide to buy. Housing stability. What do I mean by housing stability? I mean that at the drop of a hat, your landlord isn't going to increase the rent. Maybe you've had that happen, where all of a sudden you get an email and the landlord says, hey, we're increasing your rent by X amount of dollars. And that creates an anxiety within you. And if you own your own home, you don't have that. That sense of the landlord at any time may send you an email to say, hey, you know what? I really like that house and now I'm going to go live there. So you need to go find somewhere else. Benefit number 2, you don't have to ask permission to be able to do stuff. to be able to customize your home any way you like. If you want to paint a feature wall, you can do it. You own the house. You don't have to ask permission to paint that wall. If you want to put up more picture hooks, you can. Go for your life. You can put up as many as you want. Have a photo gallery if you like. You can do that and you don't have to ask for permission. Benefit number 3. Buying gets cheaper over time and renting becomes more expensive. The reality is that if you own your own home, the mortgage repayments that you're making on that home every month over time are getting less and less and less as you're paying off that principal and interest. With renting, it actually gets more expensive over time. And if you live in Australia, I don't want to burst your bubble, but the cost of renting is just going to continue to increase. There was a Productivity Commission report done in 2019, and they actually looked at the cost of renting over a 20-year period. And the cost of renting increased higher than inflation. That's crazy. Yikes. Whereas the cost of a mortgage and the repayments of a mortgage actually decrease over time because you're slowly paying off that principal amount. That amount is slowly going down. So the cost of that home is actually getting less and less. So this is the biggest difference between renting versus buying a home. And it's something that I feel that not enough people are really talking about. We don't really talk about the cost over a period of time actually either diminishing or increasing when we're having this discussion and when we're having this debate. And this is where over the long term, and I'm talking 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, in that long term, you're actually going to be better off owning the home that you live in, because if you don't, your rent is only steadily going to increase. And for you, that means the closer that you're getting to retirement, your cost of living is still going to go up, even though the amount of income you have coming in is actually going to start to reduce. So in that situation, you're going to be better off owning the home that you live in, having it paid off with no mortgage, and as you move into retirement and you have less income coming in and less availability of options for income to come in, then you're actually going to have less outgoing costs as well, because you will have already paid off that mortgage. But I did something different. I bought a property and I continued to rent. I had the best of both worlds. I had the flexibility of being able to rent, and yet I was still paying off a home, an asset for the future. It's called rent vesting, and we're going to talk about it in the next video. So hit subscribe, hit that little bell button. I'll see you in my next video. Did you do it? Did you hit subscribe? Just below. Hit subscribe. Come on, you can do it. Thanks.